Hi there, my friends, my family, and fans. I am Andrew Ditch. I am diagnosed with autism and intellectual disability. Today I have a special video for you. I want to talk about interoception sensory challenges. Before I go into this, I want to start out by sharing my experiences with interoception challenges. One big problem I have is I am not able to feel when my bladder or bowels are full, so I have accidents. For me, it is no big deal. For caregivers, this is not something they want to do, but it is not something I can manage without help. I need help wiping and fitting my diaper on properly. I already explained the challenges I face with personal care with my video on proprioception is the body's ability to sense its position and movement in space, playing a crucial. Another big problem I have is emotional regulation. I am not aware of being tired, irritable, unwell, and my emotional state. This makes it hard to identify and name my emotions. Because I cannot identify how I am feeling, it makes it hard for me to express myself, and I rely on other techniques such as situations and environmental and social cues to help me. I also am not able to know when I need to regulate. This is a problem that makes me feel awful about myself. It makes other people feel not comfortable or safe around me. I want you to know this because I get bullied a lot for this. It is also a reason why some doctors do not want to accept my diagnosis given to me by many doctors, as they don't want to help me due to their own personal feelings and opinions about me from hearsay and rumors. A dangerous one is I have a hard time regulating body temperature. I also cannot recognize when it is cold or hot, making it very dangerous for me. I also have a hard time feeling thirsty, so I am often dehydrated. Some caregivers refuse to help me with reminders to drink, as they didn't have to check my diaper and change me every hour. I am unable to feel when I am hungry, and this makes it dangerous, as I am a diabetic. I am unable to feel full, so I often overeat. This challenge results in my eating too much at once and or not at all. Weight control and losing weight is hard as a result. Not being able to use a microwave and or cook safely makes it hard for me to eat properly. Not having help with meal preparation, planning, budgeting, shopping, and portion control makes my diet and nutrition a bigger problem for weight loss and health. Having food avoidance issues due to texture is another issue. Thank goodness I love my veggies. I need help with balanced diet. I also cannot cope with pain. Any small paper cut or shot hurts like I am being murdered. I have no clue what it feels like to be cut open or shot or anything big pain like that. I don't want to deal with that. Hit my head, biting myself, falling, getting hit by a car, or a simple injury is bad enough. It is why I am unable to test my blood sugar and use my EpiPen. These are a few big problems and not the complete list of my challenges. Interoception refers to the perception of internal bodily signals, which can be challenging for individuals with sensory processing difficulties. Children and adults with interoceptive challenges may struggle to recognize bodily sensations such as hunger, thirst, or temperature, leading to difficulties in self-regulation. This can result in meltdowns or difficulty managing responses to various stimuli. Interoceptive information is crucial for maintaining homeostasis and can be affected by sensory processing challenges, impacting overall well-being. Strategies such as mindfulness activities and a sensory diet may help improve awareness and regulation of interoceptive signals. According to the website from Understood.org, interoception and sensory processing challenges. Understanding interoception is essential for addressing sensory processing challenges and enhancing overall health and wellness. At a glance, interoception is a lesser-known sense that helps you understand and feel what's going on inside your body. People who struggle with the interoceptive sense may have trouble knowing when they feel hungry, full, hot, cold, or thirsty. Having trouble with this sense can also make self-regulation a challenge. People with sensory processing challenges have trouble managing everything their senses take in. The 5 traditional senses are sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. And some people have challenges with the 6th and 7th senses, proprioception, and the vestibular sense. There's an 8th and lesser-known sense, too. It's called interoception. Here's what you need to know. What interoception is. Receptors in your muscles and joints tell you where your body parts are. That's the basis for your proprioceptive sense. It makes you aware of where your body is in space. When you take a step, for example, you know your foot is off the ground. You don't have to think about it. People with poor proprioception have trouble with this. A self-guided activity to boost your mood. Interoception is a similar process, but the receptors are inside your organs, including your skin. They send information about the inside of the body to the brain. This regulates vital functions like body temperature, hunger, thirst, digestion, and heart rate. Interoception helps you know and feel what's going on inside your body. You can tell if your heart is beating fast or if you need to use the bathroom. You know if you're hungry, full, hot, cold, thirsty, nauseated, itchy, or ticklish. The brains of people with sensory processing challenges may have trouble making sense of all this. They may not be able to tell when they're feeling pain or when their bladder is full. An itch may feel like pain, or pain may feel ticklish. People who struggle with the interoceptive sense can also have trouble feeling their emotions. They might not be tuned in to the body cues that help interpret and identify an emotion. That means that these people may not feel fear. They don't sense that their muscles are tense, or that their breathing is shallow and their heart is racing. Interoception and self-regulation. Having trouble with this sense can also make it hard to self-regulate. When you're able to tell that you're thirsty, you know to take a drink. When you can feel that your bladder is full, you know to use the bathroom. When you feel a sense of frustration, you know to explain what's going on. If this system doesn't work well, people may not know why they're feeling off and can have meltdowns. Or they can't regulate certain responses and may wet the bed. People with these struggles may not be able to identify the source of their discomfort, reacting to interoceptive input with sensory processing challenges. People who are sensory seekers may crave interoceptive input. They may move quickly because breathing fast feels right to them. They may not eat or drink as much as other people because being hungry and thirsty feels comfortable to them. But people with sensory processing challenges can react in other ways, too. Some people may find interoceptive input irritating. People who are hypersensitive to sensory input may overdo things. For instance, they may eat more than other people so they don't feel hunger pangs. They may also use the bathroom more often because they don't like the way a full bladder feels, respond inappropriately to interoceptive input. People who are underresponsive to sensory input may not feel or respond to sensations when they should. For instance, they may take longer than other people to learn to use the toilet. They may not eat as often as others because they may not feel hunger or thirst. Trouble with interoception isn't as well known as other sensory processing challenges. But some experts think that mindfulness practices, sensory diets, and heavy work can help. Download a sample sensory diet and learn more about when people are sensory seeking and sensory avoiding. Another website about interoception from reframingautism.org.au. Have you ever gone a morning without eating and/or drinking, only to be reminded you're famished by a visual cue such as a clock, rather than noticing a dry mouth or hunger pains? If the answer is yes, you may, like many autistic individuals, experience interoception differences. What is interoception? Interoception is colloquially known as the eighth sense, Mahler, 2017, and is a lesser-known yet crucial sense that helps individuals perceive and interpret signals originating from within their own bodies. Signals such as hunger pains, thirst, fatigue, nausea, tummy flutters, a racing heart, goosebumps, sexual arousal, muscle tension, toileting urges, and even pain. Our interoceptive awareness is mediated by a network of sensory receptors located in various organs, including the heart, lungs, stomach, bladder, eyes, and skin. These receptors send signals to the insula in our brain about the state of our body's internal environment. Our brain then uses the information about how our body feels as clues to our emotional state. Are we anxious, sick, tired, or excited? Interoception is important because we need to be able to sense, process, and integrate our bodily cues in order to maintain homeostasis, regulate our emotions, and enjoy an overall state of well-being and connection to ourselves and others. Interoception and autism. Research shows our autistic community experiences interoception differences more frequently than non-autistic individuals. Zachary et al., 2023. Similar to our sensory processing of external stimuli, autistic individuals may be hyper, over, or hypo, under, aware of our body's internal cues. Such challenges can manifest in various ways and significantly impact our daily life and physical and emotional well-being. Challenges in identifying basic needs. Interoception differences can make it difficult for autistic individuals to accurately recognize and respond to basic bodily needs. This can lead to irregular eating and drinking habits, dehydration, constipation, or difficulty getting to the bathroom in time. Emotional regulation difficulties. When non-autistic individuals begin to feel frustrated, angry, or upset, they can recognize these emotions and can utilize internal bodily signals to help them understand the reasons for those emotions, to take action to address them. In contrast, some autistic people might struggle to notice and connect internal physical sensations with emotions. This confusion and disconnect can make it challenging to actively regulate our emotions when we need to do so. As a result, we might appear fine until unmet physical and emotional needs pile up and overwhelm us, leading to big emotions and/or survival behaviors like meltdown or shutdown. Difficulty with introspection and alexithymia. Interoception is essential for introspection, the ability to reflect on one's thoughts and feelings. Autistic individuals with interoception differences might find it challenging to engage in introspection, as it can prove difficult to interpret internal cues and connect them with our mental and emotional states. This can affect our ability to understand ourselves and integrate our experiences. Many autistic individuals are also alexithymic. Alexithymia is a condition in which a person has difficulty identifying and describing their emotions and is closely associated with interoception differences. When internal bodily signals are misinterpreted or not recognized, it becomes challenging to associate these signals with specific emotions and identify how you're feeling. This can lead to a confused sense of self. Read an autistic account of alexithymia, heightened or diminished experiences of pain. Some autistic individuals may experience heightened sensitivity to internal signals of pain. This can make it look like we're being overly dramatic with big reactions, but it is vital to remember that each person's experience of their pain is genuine, individual, and intimately related to their interoceptive sensitivity. Others might have a diminished sensitivity, making it harder to notice when they're in pain. This can have long-term health implications, as autistic people with low pain interoception may not attend to symptoms of injury, disease, illness, or infection in themselves until it is well advanced. Read more about the autistic experience of pain. Impact on social interactions. Social interactions often rely on the ability to recognize and respond to one's own, as well as others' emotional states. Interoception differences can make it harder for autistic individuals to pick up on social cues and respond appropriately. For instance, we might not notice subtle signs of discomfort or stress in ourselves, which would help us remove ourselves from overwhelming or even dangerous situations. Health and well-being. Atypical interoception can also affect overall health and well-being. Difficulty in recognizing and responding to bodily needs can lead to chronic health issues such as poor nutrition, dehydration, and gastrointestinal problems. Additionally, the stress associated with misinterpreting internal signals can contribute to mental health challenges such as anxiety and depression. Strategies to support autistic individuals with interoception differences. Autistic-led research shows that our interoception can be improved, and there are many activities that can be harnessed to improve your or a loved one's interoception. Goodall, 2021. Here are some strategies that can help. 1. Engaging in interoceptive awareness training. Interoceptive awareness training involves activities and exercises designed to help individuals recognize and interpret internal signals. Mindfulness practices, body scans, and guided relaxation techniques can be beneficial. These practices can enhance awareness of bodily sensations and improve the ability to connect these sensations with emotions and needs. 2. Involving visual supports and communication tools. Visual supports, such as emotion charts and body maps, can aid autistic individuals in identifying and expressing their internal states. These tools provide a visual representation of bodily sensations and emotions, making it easier to communicate needs and feelings. For example, An emotion chart might help an individual identify that a headache is related to stress or that a stomachache signals hunger. 3. Providing consistent routines. Establishing consistent routines around eating, drinking, and other self-care activities can help mitigate the challenges of interoception differences. Regular schedules can serve as external reminders to address internal needs, reducing reliance on internal signals that might be misinterpreted or unnoticed. 4. Modifying our environment. Creating a supportive and predictable environment can help autistic individuals manage interoceptive challenges. Reducing sensory overload and embracing technology such as phone alerts to prompt self-care activities such as drinking water can help individuals feel more in control of their internal states. 5. Making space for stimming. In a 2019 study, autistic researchers found that repetitive, stimming behaviors, such as hand flapping and body rocking, are self-soothing and help to regulate the autonomic nervous system, which in turn generates interoceptive signals. Pulsa et al. 2020. The focused attention from such stimming behaviors help the autistic children to accurately notice their heartbeats. Caregivers, educators, family members, and healthcare professionals should advocate for accommodations and encourage self-regulatory behaviors such as stimming to provide a supportive environment for the autistic individual. 6. Offering understanding and validation. Supporting autistic individuals with interoception differences requires a deep understanding and acceptance of our unique experiences. It's important to recognize that our perception of our own bodies may differ significantly from non-autistics, yet this difference is not a deficit. Our responses to internal cues and physical sensations may be unexpected to some, but these responses are our authentic lived reality. Validating and respecting our experiences, even when they diverge from neuronormative expectations, fosters an environment of support and empathy. By acknowledging and embracing these differences, loved ones can provide meaningful and compassionate support to us. 7. Upskilling your knowledge of interoception. Informing caregivers, educators, family members, and healthcare professionals about interoception and its impact on autistic individuals is crucial. Interoception differences significantly affect various aspects of life for autistic individuals, from recognizing basic bodily needs to managing emotions and engaging in social interactions. By understanding these impacts and implementing supportive strategies, we can improve autistic quality of life and support greater self-care, emotional well-being, and social connection. Later this month, I will go into topics about how and why emotional regulation challenges are so difficult for autistic people. Please subscribe for notifications for this. According to theottoolbox.com and article named What You Need to Know About Interoception. Interoception is a sensory term you may not have heard of before, but you have certainly felt or been impacted by the processing of our interoceptive sense. Internal feelings of hunger, fatigue, thirst, body temperature, digestion, and other internal systems offer a certain feeling, right? This is your interoception sensory system at work. Here, we're covering everything you need to know about this complex sense and taking a detailed look at how interoception impacts function, how interoception affects mental health. One thing that I wanted to share is some information I've been hearing about on various podcasts. It seems like recently, there is an upshift in environmental input that we're all trying to process. It's the never-ending distractions of notifications, more visual clutter, constant notifications, and an overwhelming stream of opinions coming from every direction. With the increase in phone use and social media scrolling, many people are tuning outward instead of inward. We're checking for reactions, updates, and validation from others, instead of pausing to notice how we feel inside. This constant outward focus chips away at our ability to notice internal cues like hunger, fatigue, anxiety, or even calm. The result is a kind of sensory and emotional overload that leaves our nervous systems in a chronic state of activation. When the brain is flooded with external sensory information and social comparison, there's less space to process our own internal signals. Over time, this can impact emotional regulation, self-awareness, and mental health, especially in children whose brains are still developing. Helping kids tune into interoceptive signals is one way we can start to counterbalance that overload and support their emotional and cognitive well-being. That's where emotional health and interoception comes in. Interoception, the ability to sense internal signals like hunger, heart rate, or the need to use the bathroom, is foundational to emotional health and mental well-being. When the brain accurately interprets signals from the body, it helps a person understand their emotional state, manage stress, and make decisions that support regulation. For kids with ADHD or executive functioning challenges, the connection between brain development and interoceptive awareness is especially important. Difficulty noticing or interpreting internal cues can lead to emotional outbursts, anxiety, or trouble with impulse control. One thing I heard in a recent podcast is the mind-body connection. This is where the vagus nerve plays a key role. It links the brain to many internal organs and helps regulate the body's stress response. Part of it is just being more aware of our internal ticking. Strengthening interoceptive awareness through body-based strategies supports the development of the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of the brain responsible for attention, planning, and self-control. By focusing on interoception, we're supporting body awareness and laying the groundwork for improved executive functioning and emotional regulation. Let's talk more about what interoception is. Interoception, the eighth sense. Did you know that the 5 senses we were taught in school is not actually a complete list of a human's senses? In fact, there are 7 or 8 senses that humans experience, depending on who you ask. Understanding our many senses helps us comprehend how we and others experience the world around us. For the sense we are highlighting today, it is how we understand what is going on inside of us. Check out this post on the OT Toolbox regarding multisensory learning, emotion activities. Definition of the interoception sense. Interoception is the sense of oneself. It is the ability to understand the body's physical signals that tell you when you are hungry or full, thirsty or quenched, hot or cold, scared or calm, etc. Interoception refers to the body's ability to identify and process internal actions of the organs and systems inside the body. This lesser-known sensory system helps you understand and feel what's going on inside your body. You can then make essential decisions about eating when you are hungry, drinking when you are thirsty, going into the restroom when you need to toilet, and other physical actions. There are nerves throughout the body that send these signals to the brain to help regulate the body and promote homeostasis. Some of these signals require a conscious act, like drinking water when we are thirsty, while others are non-conscious, like sweating when we are hot. Interoception comes into play when we consciously realize, oh, I am sweating because I feel hot, I should take off my jacket to cool down. How does interoception impact function? Interoception can be thought of as a mind-body connection. Having a strong interoceptive sense would mean that you have a strong sense of the physical self and what you need to promote comfort at any given time. Being able to confidently act on your body's needs makes everything a bit easier. You are likely able to make it to the bathroom before an accident, eat food before you feel lightheaded, and stop eating before you feel sick. But what about individuals who are not able to accurately process the body's internal signals? They may find it more challenging to be potty trained, have a healthy diet, or emotionally regulate. The ability to understand and respond to our body's needs is a huge factor in our independence. If we don't quite know what our bodies need, it makes everyday activities much more challenging, and focus on school or work tasks may dwindle. Interoception even has to do with how our body moves, the action of bones in the skeleton, bone growth. Growing pains have a lot of pain that is felt internally for kiddos who are rapidly growing. Be sure to check out this related blog on bone names to help teach kids about this concept. Functionally, interoception impacts so many areas of everyday tasks. Eating, drinking, sleep, toileting, getting dressed, putting on temperature-appropriate clothing, or taking off clothing before becoming overheated, so many more considerations. Interoception and emotion. Interoception has a strong connection to emotional processing because of the physical way that we experience emotions. Our muscles clench when we are angry, quiver when we are scared, and relax when we are calm. Likewise, the stomach may feel upset when we are nervous, and one might get a headache from frustration. People with good interoception can relate these physical feelings to emotions. If a person's sensory processing differences, the signals from the body may not be accurately represented or relayed to the brain. They may be muddied or confusing, leading to a misunderstanding of what the body is trying to tell the brain. Because of this, a tickle may feel like pain, or a person may not know why they are experiencing discomfort. Without interoception, labeling emotions is then a bit more challenging, as well as understanding how to remedy undesired feelings. Children may act out in aggression, cry or scream uncontrollably, or show other signs of sensory dysregulation, potentially due to a lack of interoception. If you know a child who has multiple characteristics of reduced interoception, like potty accidents, under-eating, and emotional dysregulation, they may benefit from therapeutic intervention to improve their body awareness. The interoception system plays a part in feelings and emotions, too. When we feel anxious or worried, we might feel a tenseness about us. Our heart rate might speed up, and we feel that anxiety coursing through our systems. But for the child with difficulty expressing these feelings, they can't tell us what they are feeling on the inside. They don't have the words to identify specific interoceptive feelings they are having. Others might not recognize a racing heart. They might not realize that physical implication of anxiety or worry because they can't actually feel their racing heart when it is very much racing. When one feels anxious about a situation or an idea, we can help them to focus on their heartbeat. We can help them take deep breaths to calm down. This focus on how their body is responding can help their internal state match the environment. Other ways to help with interoceptive identification include habit and routines to help us feel organized. When we know what to expect, we feel a lot more organized. The body is able to modulate better. As we increase the challenge, we have to also increase our supports. We can use some external organizational strategies, deep breaths, awareness, mindfulness, heavy work, routines, to help compensate for the lack of internal ability to organize ourselves. When we are disorganized, this is where we can fall apart. We have to be mindful ahead of time and be accommodating and accepting of immature nervous systems, whether this is with our children, our spouse, or ourselves. Tips for improving interoception. There are all sorts of activities you can do with children to help increase their interoception skills. Below you will find tips for improving interoception, including mindfulness and children's books on topics like emotions, potty training, and problem solving. Modeling how you understand your body's signals may also help. Be sure to emphasize how you are feeling and what you'll do about it. Mindfulness, the act of intentionally connecting to oneself and/or the world around them. This can help an individual get out of their head and feel more grounded in the present moment. By doing so, it may improve self-awareness and a positive mood. Mindfulness is not just great for improving interoception. See this article for more information. This video guides a progressive muscle relaxation. Intentionally contracting and releasing muscles brings more awareness to the physical body and deepens the connection that we feel to it. Here we have another video that guides mindfulness in the form of a body scan. It also adds a great piece of education for children on what it means to understand their body's signals and why it is important. The OT Toolbox has this great list of more active ways to explore mindfulness through gross motor play. Focus on awareness. So often, parents, children, clients, educators, and even professionals are not aware of all of the ways that the interoceptive sense impacts everyday functioning, learning, and daily participation in everything one does throughout the day. Educate, educate, educate. Then, bring that awareness to a full circle with activities that take the concept of interoception in daily tasks home. For example, you can cover how sleep is impacted by interoception and incorporate a few of our hibernation activities. Without interoception, animals that hibernate would not instinctively know to fill up on foods before winter and to keep eating even when they may feel full. Then that sleep that allows them to slumber through the winter is in effect. It's all related. Books to improve interoception. Below are Amazon affiliate links to resources and books on interoception and internal states. We Listen to Our Bodies is a book that follows a young girl as she feels emotions through her day. The physical representations of emotions are highlighted in ways that are familiar to young children. For a similar read, pick up this book that follows a boy and his day full of feelings at the zoo. Time to Pee by Emma Williams is a great book that helps kids understand how to respond when they have that funny feeling in their tummies. I feel activity books have been praised by therapists for their ability to make learning mindfulness fun. The activity book linked here focuses on sickness in the body and what it feels like to be sick in different ways. The OT Toolbox has a great resource called the Sensory Lifestyle Handbook to tie sensory processing together for more children's books on mindfulness to elicit peace and calm. Check out this resource. Some self-help ideals on interoception with more information can be found on the Meraki Lane website. Title: The Eighth Sense Explained. 7 Interoception Activities for Kids. What is interoception? Often described as the eighth sense, interoception allows us to interpret the things that are going on inside of our bodies. It helps us understand how we're feeling and allows us to take the appropriate actions to manage the emotions those feelings create. If our stomach growls, we eat. If our mouth feels dry, we drink. If our bladder is full, we use the bathroom. If we feel cold, we put a sweater on. What is the relationship between interoception and emotion? Children with sensory processing challenges sometimes struggle to make sense of the information provided by their interoceptive systems. They don't recognize important cues within their body, which in turn makes it difficult for them to identify the emotions these cues create. The inability to identify the source of their discomfort, thirst, hunger, the need to use the bathroom, sickness, etc., makes self-regulation more challenging for these kids, resulting in feelings of frustration, unexplained meltdowns, etc. The interoceptive system impacts other important skills like social and flexible thinking, problem-solving, and social understanding as well. Signs of interoceptive challenges in kids. If you suspect your child may have interoceptive challenges, it's always best to speak with a licensed professional to rule out any other underlying conditions and to ensure the appropriate assessments are carried out and a solid treatment plan is put in place. This video guides a progressive muscle relaxation. Intentionally contracting and releasing muscles brings more awareness to the physical body and deepens the connection that we feel to it. Here we have another video that guides mindfulness in the form of a body scan. It also adds a great piece of education for children on what it means to understand their body's signals and why it is important. The OT Toolbox has this great list of more active ways to explore mindfulness through gross motor play. Focus on awareness. So often, parents, children, clients, educators, and even professionals are not aware of all of the ways that the interoceptive sense impacts everyday functioning, learning, and daily participation in everything one does throughout the day. Educate, educate, educate. Then, bring that awareness to a full circle with activities that take the concept of interoception in daily tasks home. For example, you can cover how sleep is impacted by interoception and incorporate a few of our hibernation activities. Without interoception, animals that hibernate would not instinctively know to fill up on foods before winter and to keep eating even when they may feel full. Then that sleep that allows them to slumber through the winter is in effect. It's all related. Books to improve interoception. Below are Amazon affiliate links to resources and books on interoception and internal states. We Listen to Our Bodies is a book that follows a young girl as she feels emotions through her day. The physical representations of emotions are highlighted in ways that are familiar to young children. For a similar read, pick up this book that follows a boy and his day full of feelings at the zoo. Time to Pee by Emma Williams is a great book that helps kids understand how to respond when they have that funny feeling in their tummies. I feel activity books have been praised by therapists for their ability to make learning mindfulness fun. The activity book linked here focuses on sickness in the body and what it feels like to be sick in different ways. The OT Toolbox has a great resource called the Sensory Lifestyle Handbook to tie sensory processing together for more children's books on mindfulness to elicit peace and calm. Check out this resource. Some self-help ideals on interoception with more information can be found on the Meraki Lane website. Title: The Eighth Sense Explained. 7 Interoception Activities for Kids. What is interoception? Often described as the eighth sense, interoception allows us to interpret the things that are going on inside of our bodies. It helps us understand how we're feeling and allows us to take the appropriate actions to manage the emotions those feelings create. If our stomach growls, we eat. If our mouth feels dry, we drink. If our bladder is full, we use the bathroom. If we feel cold, we put a sweater on. What is the relationship between interoception and emotion? Children with sensory processing challenges sometimes struggle to make sense of the information provided by their interoceptive systems. They don't recognize important cues within their body, which in turn makes it difficult for them to identify the emotions these cues create. The inability to identify the source of their discomfort, thirst, hunger, the need to use the bathroom, sickness, etc., makes self-regulation more challenging for these kids, resulting in feelings of frustration, unexplained meltdowns, etc. The interoceptive system impacts other important skills like social and flexible thinking, problem-solving, and social understanding as well. Signs of interoceptive challenges in kids. If you suspect your child may have interoceptive challenges, it's always best to speak with a licensed professional to rule out any other underlying conditions and to ensure the appropriate assessments are carried out and a solid treatment plan is put in place. A child may be underresponsive to interoceptive input if they have a very high threshold for pain difficulty with toilet training, accidents, bedwetting, constipation, etc., an inability to tell if they are hungry or full, an inability to tell if they are cold or hot. A child may be overresponsive to interoceptive input if they have extreme reactions to certain sensations, hunger, temperature, etc., difficulty focusing due to preoccupation with internal stimuli, extreme anxiety, and worry over seemingly small events. 7 interoception activities for kids. Interoceptive difficulties can have a significant impact on a child's ability to keep their internal system balanced and result in challenges with self-regulation, problem-solving, flexibility, and social skills, but rest assured that interoception can be improved. Here are 7 of our favorite interoception activities for kids. To regular body scans. If you're looking for interoception activities for kids, a great first step is to proactively help your child recognize interoceptive input as it occurs. Ask your child to complete a full body scan before eating and drinking, when outside in hot and cold weather, before using the bathroom, after exercising, etc., and ask him or her to identify the internal feelings that hunger, thirst, heat, cold, a full bladder, a racing heart, etc. create. Remember that these feelings may not be innately obvious to your child, but the more you assist him or her in feeling them in real time, the more he or she will be able to identify and act on them independently in the future. Sensory diet. When trying interoception activities for kids, you want to ensure you are focusing on things that address your child's specific sensory challenges and needs. An occupational therapist can help you develop an individualized sensory diet, which will combine different sensory activities, tools, and tactics to help your child receive, process, and respond to sensory information more appropriately. By engaging in individualized sensory diet activities both in therapy and at home, your child will learn how to interpret cues from their body and from their environment in an appropriate way. And since most sensory diet activities are extremely fun, they provide a way for children to practice their new skills in a non-threatening environment without even realizing it. If you're interested in learning more about occupational therapy and the different kinds of activities occupational therapists use to help children with sensory processing challenges, this post is a great place to start. Yoga. Yoga is another great option for those who are looking for interoception activities for kids. Some of the benefits of yoga include mental wellness, relaxation, improved respiration, and a lowered heart rate. So it's no surprise that many parents with children who struggle to regulate their emotions are turning to yoga for relief. There are tons of yoga sequences for kids you can stream for free on YouTube, but if you're looking for something you can use offline, we love our Yoga Pretzels kit. It has 50 fun yoga activities the whole family can enjoy together. Morning interoception check-in. Another great way to help kids develop interoceptive awareness is to create a daily check-in to help the little ones in your life build interoceptive awareness. This template from Teachers Pay Teachers includes daily check-in prompts for kids, including things like how they slept and when/what they ate, and it takes them through a full body check to help them figure out how they are feeling so they can strategize appropriately. This is a great tool to help you understand the different ways you can help your child build interoceptive awareness, and you can use the ideas to create a more personalized daily check-in chart if needed. Heavy work activities. Heavy work refers to activities that push and pull the body. Kids of all ages and abilities can benefit from engaging in heavy work, but these activities are particularly helpful to children with sensory processing disorder as they engage the proprioceptive system, which plays a huge role in interoception. Heavy work has a calming effect on the nervous system and helps children with things like body awareness, organization, and self-regulation. Examples of heavy work activities include carrying groceries to and from the car, mowing grass, raking leaves, shoveling snow, carrying garbage cans to and from the curb, cleaning tabletops and windows, vacuuming, jumping on an outdoor trampoline or indoor trampoline, pushing an exercise ball up the stairs, wheelbarrow races, beanbag toss, jumping jacks. If you're interested in disability topics such as treatment, support, accommodations, and rights, like this video and subscribe for more inclusive content. I will talk to you on my next video.